Century Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.
Hey everybody, good morning, and thanks so much for taking time out of the day to get updated with the forecast. This is the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank, and I'm Jared Floyd. Happy Friday. It is a foggy, soggy Friday. A lot of areas have already seen some shower activity. Most of the rain that we've seen, mainly across the eastern half of the coverage area, most of it's been fairly light, but a lot of shallow moisture out there. Some of our traffic cams are getting swung around. Traffic cams are courtesy of LADOTD. And everything seems to be moving smoothly along I-20 across northern Louisiana this morning. Again, there is some fog out there. It's not necessarily a debilitating fog in terms of really slowing traffic down and making folks hesitate on the roadways. It's just there. And again, makes for kind of a gloomy start to the morning across the region. This morning's forecast made possible by ServPro, Monroe, West Monroe, faster to any size disaster. Call or click servpro.com for more. And your radar, as always, made possible by Brown's Roofing. If the radar's been unkind to your roof, you can schedule your free roof inspection, commercial or residential, at brownsroofingla.com. Most of our thunderstorm activity this morning started over the Mississippi Valley, generally as expected, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, intensified right along the Mississippi River, and then moved right out of our area. And that's generally what the models had been hinting at during the overnight hours, is that we would see activity along the Mississippi Valley, and then it would advance quickly out of our area. Now, once it moved out of our area, some of those very shallow showers are moving into an area of very high wind shear, so it doesn't take much to get things spinning. And we've had multiple tornado warnings issued to the northeast of Jackson, another one to the west of Hattiesburg, and then another one east of Franklinton, Louisiana this morning. Mr. Moore, thank you so much for joining in. Miss Vicki, Janet, hello. Thank you. Good morning to all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to get a look at the forecast. Again, most of the activity rain-wise has been to our east so far this morning. I put this frame and image in just in case something did pop up rain-wise as I was kind of putting the whole forecast together. And if we needed to look at something, we would have this frame to go look at it. So we're just going to go right back to what's going on in Mississippi. So, again, generally speaking, most of this is already wrapped up and moved out of our area. So we're in a little bit of a lull before we expect additional showers and storms late this morning and through the rest of the afternoon. Again, a good chunk of the area will see thunderstorms. Not everyone will see severe thunderstorms. And I think that's an important takeaway. I think a lot of us assume we're going to get a storm and there's a severe weather threat, so it has to be a severe thunderstorm. And that's almost always not the case, or very often is not the case, or it's very rarely the case. Whatever. Rain totals across the area in the last 24 hours. These are radar estimated and should be considered unofficial. I always say that, and that reminds me, we can go over and get some official rain totals from the Louisiana Mesonet, which is operated by the University of Louisiana Monroe. Sicily Island already at 2/3 of an inch of rainfall today, but Jonesville only at 100th of an inch. Acme at 0.17 of an inch. Same in Monroe on the campus of ULM, 0.16 of an inch. In Lake Providence, 1/10 of an inch of rain in Morganza. That's out of our area. Mer Rouge, almost 41/100 of an inch of rainfall. 2/100 of an inch in Delhi. 4/100 of an inch in Winfield. That's about it. And a new site's been just popped up in Clinton, Louisiana. So that's cool. And Kentwood's already seen 2 inches of rain today. Again, I know that's out of our area, but it just shows that that some isolated sporadic areas will see some thunderstorm-driven rains that will lead to totals much higher than the rest of the area will see. Visibility, again, limited, especially across southern Arkansas this morning. It has not been an ideal driving morning across much of Union County and really anywhere across southern Arkansas. Visibility down to a 1/4 mile in Camden at last check, down to a 1/4 mile in El Dorado, Texarkana, 1/4 mile, Vicksburg down to a 1/4 mile, or at least TVR, which is Tallulah-Vicksburg in Madison Parish. So visibility is limited in a lot of spots. Again, it's not necessarily debilitating along I-20 in Ouachita Parish, but across other parts of the region, exercise caution as you venture out and about this morning. Jonathan, good morning. Whitney says she's traveling to Covington today, nervous about the weather. If you're heading out soon, you probably will hit a little bit of a gap in a lot of this activity. Now, that said, a lot of showers and storms will be developing south and kind of drifting northward through the day. So it's going to be hard to dodge some rain and thunderstorms. Obviously, just exercise caution. Take the Digital Weather Desk app with you, and it will kind of follow you with you wherever you go. Matus, good morning. Ida, good morning to you as well. Temperatures, 50s, 60s, 70s. Wide array of numbers across the region this morning. 59 in El Dorado and Camden, 69 in Monroe, 70 Columbia, 70 Natchez, 68 in Vicksburg. Again, very warm, soupy environment across the region. Dew points mid to upper 60s for a good chunk of the region. Terry, good morning to you. So it's kind of gross out there. And there's still plenty of warm, humid air to help feed thunderstorms. We talk about it all the time. Linda, Ann, Gary, thanks so much for taking time out of the day to join us. Severe weather forecast, we always talk about the 4 ingredients, or the 4 main ingredients. Hello, Kay. Slim, shear, lift, instability, moisture. Moisture's not a problem. We're going to have plenty of that. We really need dew points over 60 degrees, preferably over 65. And that's where we're already there. So moisture, check that box off. The shear, lift, instability, we're going to get limited amounts of those as we go through the day. And then by the time we get really the maximized shear in our area, instability may be limited. So again, you tend to get all of the ingredients, but you never... we're not going to get necessarily all of them at the same time. Wind speeds are out of the south fairly light. Check the satellite radar composite. It shows the thunderstorms that have been erupting across central and southern Mississippi through the course of the morning hours. Again, a lot of that started in our area, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, advanced pretty quickly off to the east. Here's a look at those storms and how they overlay with storm energy, CAPE. Convective available potential energy. And you can notice that a lot of the storms that you're seeing out over central and southern Mississippi are working in an environment that doesn't have a lot of storm energy, if you will. So how are they even doing their thing? Well, first off, we've got the advancing cold front, which is helping to provide some lift in the atmosphere. Now, a lot of these storms are kind of separated from the boundary, which remains stalled and slow moving across our area. But they're also interacting in an area of high shear or high helicity. Storm relative helicity is a measure that we look at that kind of measures shear in the atmosphere and the ability for storms to generally rotate. And it's all calculated relative to the direction that storms are moving. But anyway, low instability, but these storms are working in an environment of relatively high shear. So that's why they're kind of doing what they're doing this morning. As we go through the rest of the morning hours, Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. Again, if storms are not necessarily your thing, also be aware that that Mike and the guys over at Bayou Power Sports have portable generators. And they have them in stock, so if you just want to go swing by and pick up one of those for peace of mind, not a bad idea. Again, shows scattered storm potential really festering through much of the day. I think the best chances will be in our southern parishes and counties, specifically our southeastern parishes and counties. The same areas that have already seen showers and storms, you folks probably have the best chance of seeing that again through the daytime hours. Because keep in mind, we have a cold front that's really just off in the northwestern sections of the area. I took the front down because not only was it kind of dated in how it was drawn and how it represents the area, it got in the way. It covered up a bunch of stuff. So I took all the frontal stuff down so we could kind of look at this all together. But scattered showers and storms will continue to fester embedded in this southerly flow ahead of the advancing front, which really won't start to move through the area until later tonight. Now, on that note, there's also going to be an area of low pressure that likely forms at the surface. And that area of low pressure provides, because, you've got all kinds of circulations around it, a counterclockwise circulation around. So that area of low pressure produces an area of maximized shear in the atmosphere. When you combine the surface low, which should be deepening at that point, and then the attending cold front, which also provides a corridor of shear in the atmosphere, which will be attached to it as it moves through the region. There will be a window of opportunity even later this evening into tonight where we could see thunderstorms, and also with that shear potential, even some rotating thunderstorms. Storms that could produce, and rotating storms don't necessarily imply tornadoes, although they can produce tornadoes, but they also just produce damaging wind gusts. So there's going to be multiple opportunities for thunderstorms through the day. That does not necessarily imply that everyone will see thunderstorms today. And I know that you're going, man, he's just straddling the fence. Well, yeah, because that's basically the severe weather situation we've been handed. It's very conditional. This is not a slam dunk by any stretch. Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to see severe thunderstorms. We're going to see thunderstorms. How many actually get to reach severe limits, we'll just have to wait and see. Northwesterly winds continue to build in through the day. I think cloudy, drizzly conditions will hang through much of the day on Saturday, especially across the southeastern sections of the area. Severe weather threat for today. You can see that much of southern Arkansas has been kind of trimmed back, especially in our far northern tier of counties in southern Arkansas. Reason being, again, the front's already started to make its progress through the region. North of that boundary, there's not really much potential for thunderstorms to develop. So for folks along and north of Highway 278 in southern Arkansas, our areas that are already in the 50s, it's going to be hard-pressed for you guys to warm up and establish an environment that could support thunderstorms. And really that goes for folks in El Dorado and Magnolia and Monticello, that marginal risk area. It's going to be really hard-pressed for you folks to really establish an environment that could support severe thunderstorms. I think you're going to see rain, and I still think you could get some thunderstorms, but in terms of severe weather potential, it could be really hard-pressed. Still keep an eye out for things as we go through the day, and I'll keep you updated, obviously. It's what we do here. But I'm not as concerned about organized storm potential as opposed to your neighbors to the south and east. Heather, Bobby, PB, May, Onethia, Jan, Kelly, good morning. Lots of folks hopping in to get a look at the forecast. Drought monitor was issued yesterday. Obviously, we need the rainfall. Multiple rounds of thunderstorms will yield some hefty rain totals, especially for those that see the frequent rainfall, especially along the Mississippi Valley, where we could see some 1.5, 2 inch, maybe 2.5 inch rain totals. Storm-driven rains could lead to extreme totals in any instance across the entire area, but the highest totals should generally be to the southeast, with the more limited totals to the northwest. Again, across southern Arkansas, I think you guys are going to see rainfall, but you just probably won't see as much and probably not as intense as your neighbors to the southeast. Official rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center is as follows, and here's a look at the flash flood risk, the excessive rain outlook, and it kind of falls in line generally with our severe weather outlook for today. There's only 4 categories in excessive rain potential, and there's a moderate risk out for central and southern Mississippi. So if you are traveling Jackson southward, Hattiesburg, Brookhaven, traveling to New Orleans or something like that today, Kentwood, there is an increased flood threat as you move into southeastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Daytime highs today in the mid to upper 70s, mid 70s generally. Low to mid 70s. We're not going to see the upper 70s, at least not widespread. Showers and thunderstorms. Some possibly severe winds will be out of the south. Those winds could be a bit breezy at times. Lows tonight will fall into the mid 50s. Storms continue early. Again, that's the other kind of wild card in the forecast is the nighttime rain potential. I think by midnight or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, most of the storms are on their way out. But there will at least be some storm potential during the nighttime hours tonight, especially along the Mississippi Valley. Of course, I'll keep you updated with the latest. 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware shows daytime highs. Mid-70s today, 50s for the weekend. Near 60 Saturday. It'll be cloudy, it'll be gloomy, it'll be cooler. And then we get a reinforcing shot of cool air that punches in Saturday, Sunday, late Saturday into Sunday, really Sunday, and pushes us into the low 50s for highs through the early parts of next week. Morning lows will drop back below freezing during that stretch for a good chunk of the area, specifically on Monday morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to see temperatures climb then back into the 60s. Week front probably resets temperatures by the end parts of next week. So that's how the forecast shakes out on this Friday morning. Here's a look at our different options for receiving severe weather alerts. I always recommend a NOAA weather radio, which you can pick up at 3B Hardware. Also, our partnership with Weather Call. You can register at digitalweatherdesk.com. Go to the Weather Call tab for more information. It is an optional add-on service that will give you a phone call, a text, or an email, or a combination of all three to let you know a warning, a severe weather warning, severe thunderstorm, flash flood emergency, tornado warning has been issued for your area. And you can move those locations around using the Find My Phone feature or Find Me feature with Weather Call. And then, of course, the 100% free option, download the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android users. And you can find more information on how to download that at digitalweatherdesk.com. So that's how things shake out as we go through the rest of the day. I'll keep you updated with how things will evolve in terms of the forecast. Here's a look at the content schedule for the rest of the day. Too Long Didn't Read still scheduled for 9:30. I'll join you midday. Storm coverage will be provided as needed. Obviously, if we get any kind of widespread severe weather or tornado warnings or anything like that, I'll let you know about it. And then tomorrow's fish and game forecast will come out at 8 p.m. tonight. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android users. There's a look at the radar, again made possible by Brown's Roofing as activity continues eastward. Again, if you're driving from Monroe to New Orleans, most of that drive would be pretty smooth for the time being, but I would expect showers and storms to fester across much of the Gulf coastline through much of the day. Jessica, Bobby, Sherry, Terry, thank you so much for joining in. Terry, I already said hello to you, but you said as long as we don't have any ice or sleet at the end of the month, you're good. We should trend colder the end of the month. If you follow the long-range social media weather nerds, I don't do the long-term stuff because to be honest with you, there's such a tendency for it to be wrong, and it just ticks me off, and I don't want to. If it ticks me off, I know it probably ticks you off. But there is a trend for us to be colder by the end of the month. How much colder? Will it include winter weather? All that stuff, we don't know. And anybody that tells you that they know, they're lying through their teeth. Jackie, good morning. But we'll keep you updated. I think the last 10 days of the month, I think probably have a decent chance of trending back colder. And we'll really tackle that more once we get beyond the storms of today and tonight, simply because there won't be anything else to talk about. Most of next week looks dry. All right, I'll join you later today. Obviously, stay up to date with the forecast. I'll provide updates as needed. The app's there for you as well. Wanda, Rachel, good morning. And like I said, we'll provide updates as needed. That's what the whole point of this digital weather platform is, to keep you informed and educated on our Arclimus weather conditions. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Have a great Friday, everybody, and be careful on the roadways.